Today, we're diving into what is honestly a massive, yet rarely talked about misconception in education. A perfectly quiet classroom, right? 30 students cutting construction paper in perfect unison. It's often a teacher's absolute dream. But, well, neurologically speaking, it might actually be a complete desert. As educators, we're always striving for active learning, but it's so easy to fall into this really specific trap, equating a busy, compliant classroom with actual genuine learning. We see movement, we see pencils flying, and we think, awesome, they're engaged. But are they really? Or is that just an incredibly convincing illusion? Today, we're going to completely dismantle that misconception. We'll be looking at a really powerful framework designed to help us stop settling for just the appearance of learning and start cultivating the actual reality of it. Okay, so let's jump right into part 1, the illusion of engagement, motion versus meaning.
Now, if you've spent literally any time at all in a classroom, you know the exact dynamic we're talking about here. And honestly, it's a deeply validating frustration. I mean, we design a lesson, we get the students active, the room is buzzing with all this energy, and on the surface, it looks like a textbook example of a successful day. But then you check for actual understanding the next day, and there's a huge disconnect. The knowledge just didn't stick, the thinking didn't happen. Why? Because, well, we got tricked by the illusion of engagement. We mistake motion for meaning. We look out at a visibly busy classroom, students cutting, pasting, quietly filling out worksheets, following every single rule, and we just assume learning is happening. But that's merely behavioral compliance. True engagement actually happens when a student is meaningfully present. Their mind is actively grappling with the material, not just going through the physical motions. We really need to shift our entire perspective away from rewarding compliance when what we should actually be demanding is presence.
Moving on to part 2. Dimensions of meaningful presence, a structured solution.
So once we actually recognize this trap of mere compliance, how do we systematically avoid it? How do we build an environment where students aren't just busy, but truly deeply engaged? Well, enter Javeria Rana's meaningful presence model. This pedagogical framework is a real game changer because it explicitly separates true engagement from mere behavioral compliance. By giving this concept a formal framework, Rana really elevates the entire conversation. We're no longer just guessing if students are engaged based on a gut feeling or the noise level in the room. We now have a distinct lens to evaluate our classroom dynamics. It demands that we ask a lot more of our students than just showing up and doing exactly what they're told. It demands that they are actively, meaningfully present in their own educational journey.
Under the hood of Rana's model is this brilliantly interconnected ecosystem of 4 dimensions. And it's super important to realize this isn't some sort of menu where you just pick one. All 4 literally have to fire simultaneously to foster deeper student presence. First up, there's behavioral presence, the physical actions. Yes, they need to be doing the task, but as we just established, action alone is just compliance. So we have to layer in emotional presence, which is tied to feelings. Do they feel connected to the work? Is there genuine curiosity or motivation there? Then comes cognitive presence, the actual thinking. Are they actually processing the information and wrestling with the concepts rather than just rotely repeating facts? And finally, the absolute pinnacle, agency. This is defined by ownership. Are they taking charge of their learning? Do they have a voice and a choice in how they navigate the material? When these 4 come together, compliance truly transforms into meaningful presence.
Which brings us to part 3, practical teaching changes, theory into practice.
Understanding this 4-part theory is fantastic, right? But what does this actually look like on a random Monday morning when the bell rings? Well, based on the model, we can make 3 immediate practical shifts in our teaching habits. First, we have got to change how we praise. We need to stop rewarding visible busyness. Instead of telling your class that you love how quietly everyone is working, praise the complex, challenging questions you're overhearing at a table. We need to cultivate thoughtful engagement. Second, redesign your tasks to demand way more than just physical action. A task should hook them emotionally and challenge them cognitively, basically activating multiple dimensions all at once. And third, and this is perhaps the toughest paradigm shift for a lot of us, step back. Relinquish mere compliance. If we try to orchestrate every single second of the lesson, there's literally no room for true student agency. We have to step back so the students can step up and actually own their learning process.
And this brings us to the ultimate litmus test for your classroom, and honestly, the most vital takeaway of this entire explainer. Ask yourself at the end of every single lesson, how were my learners meaningfully present? Not did they finish the worksheet, or did we get through all the material, or did they stay quiet, but did they act, feel, think, and take true ownership of the learning?